Hey, my lovely goal-getters. Welcome to the Moms Making Money Show. I'm your host, Amie Pederson, business mentor and confidence coach for the emerging boss mom. It's my mission to help amazing women just like you up-level yourself and your business because you are meant for more than wiping boogers and folding laundry. I'm also a wife, mother, urban farmer, influencer, green juice enthusiast, and an unapologetic lover of cowboy boots. I can't wait to help you grow your business by sharing my tips, tricks, proven business strategy, experience, and incredible guests. Hang on tight and enjoy the show. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends and educational partners, HoneyBook. HoneyBook is an amazing service for creatives, visionaries, coaches, and business owners just like us. And the best part about HoneyBook, they're super easy to use. They're so super affordable. And they even come with a contract template specified to the type of industry that we're in that we're free to use and send to our clients. So basically what HoneyBook does is it helps automate the onboarding process. So I use this process for any one-on-one clients. I use this process for my mastermind clients. I use this process for events. This is something I use for everything other than like a self-study course. Anything that I want them to be able to have a payment plan for, and also to, if there's any kind of contractual agreement. So a lot of times you'll want somebody to sign a contract for your terms of use, your terms and conditions, and the terms of your agreement with one another. So this makes it super easy. So when you get somebody to sign up with you and they're like, heck yeah, I'm all in. Where do I sign up? Where do I start? You just get their email address, you enter in their custom program, or you can save a template if you have one that's always the same price, always the same contract. And you just basically fill in their information, fill in the price, create their custom payment plan if they are paying in full or if they're paying weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, like on specified dates, whatever that looks like for that particular client. You send it over once, and what it does is it sends them a proposal so they can see everything beautifully lined out. Then they can sign the contract and make their first payment. It's so simple. They can do it from their email box or from their phone in a matter of moments. And then everything is good to go. You're in compliance. You're all, ready to go with your contract, and everything is started right away. You can also set up follow-up emails. You can also set up what they call brochures, and you make beautiful introductions to your programs, to your courses, and to whatever it is that you have to offer. And these can be customized in so many different ways so that they are on brand with you. And the cool thing about HoneyBook is they have offered all of you guys 50% off for the entire first year. So this is one of the best bargains I think I've ever encountered. So to get this, you can actually start with a free trial, no credit card required, which I love. And but trust me, you'll love HoneyBook. So then if you're ready to get started, you just sign up. So if you want to get that 50% off, make sure you use our code. It's in the show notes, but it's share.honeybook.com/Amie, AMIE 935. So just click back over into the show notes if you want that, or it is share.honeybook.com/Amie 935, and that will secure your 50% off an already amazing low price for the entire first year of your subscription. I hope that you guys have a wonderful experience with HoneyBook. I know that I have. It's been a staple of my business, and it's been such a joy to use. Welcome back, everybody. I have the pleasure of bringing to you guys Caloni Michelle. She is a personal branding expert, and she does so much awesome stuff. She travels. She works with clients who are worth over $10 million, and they've been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur, all the places. She, like me, is a serial entrepreneur. She is a philanthropist, and she is just hugely, hugely globally recognized as a person of authority in branding. And she also likes to host events, which I can definitely get down with. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Caloni. Tell us a little bit about how you got started on this journey of where you are right now as an entrepreneur and as a branding expert.
Sure. So really, I walked the walk, and that has paved me to where I am today, in short, where I'm teaching people to do exactly what I've done for my personal brand. But it wasn't that easy, right? That sounds easy, and it definitely wasn't easy. Back in, 2010, I started wanting to build my own personal brand, even though, personal branding wasn't really a term back then, or it wasn't a widely recognized term. And I just knew that I wanted to, put myself out there online. And then I started going down those entrepreneurial rabbit holes. I was just bored with the corporate world. And I was just like, man, I need something that's more fulfilling, where I'm actually making an impact, and I'm not just, going to work to make the paycheck, to pay the bills, to, do it all over again 5 days a week. So, so then I, started down those entrepreneurial rabbit holes. And then 2013, I officially started my first business. 2014, I finished my MBA. And then 2014, 2015 timeframe, I really just started building my personal brand online, more so on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And people were asking me how I was doing it. And literally, I just started teaching people. And one thing has evolved to another, from, just building my personal brand and that social presence, to getting into like websites and the design elements of it, to creating digital products and helping other people create digital products and launch those products and create monetization strategies, to getting featured in the press and the media, to hosting my own events, to being interviewed on podcasts and YouTube channels and radio shows and all those sort of things. And so really, I did it for myself, and I started teaching other people how to do it. Now I have a team and agency, and we do that for other people. But really, it was just out of a desire for me to do it for myself first.
I love that. That is so awesome. What was when you first got started, and I know you said you had to walk the walk, and I think that's like obviously the biggest, most important part, but what kind of challenges do you feel like you faced?
At least for me, I feel like I'm never like prepared. I'm just the type of person. My husband told me that like I would be a professional researcher if I could be. I just feel like I can never learn enough knowledge. I can never research enough. And so really, like, I just felt like I didn't know enough information. Right. And so I feel like it's taking me a little bit longer to get started in certain areas than I would have liked. But then again, whenever I do come out in those areas, that it's like, hey, like, yeah, I really know what I'm talking about at that point, because I have done my due diligence. I've put in the work. I have researched the heck out of it, and I know what's going on. So really, it was believing in myself, and that what I knew was enough. And it was also enough that, if I was faced with that problem, I'm sure that there are tens of thousands of people who also face that challenge and need help overcoming it.
Right. Absolutely. That is, and that I think a lot of people, when they're first starting out, they seem to overlook the, what they've gone through themselves and what kind of hurdles those can actually be, and how what's the right word I'm looking for here? Monumentous, is that a word?
Monumentous, sure.
Yeah. Like some of those things, we just dismiss them as just, part of the path, part of the road, part of the journey. And we don't even realize how they really did help, really guide us to where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and with all the information that's out on the internet now, it's so many entrepreneurs are complicating the journey, right? Yes. We think that we have to understand Facebook ads and Instagram ads and how to be on all the platforms and do all the things, and how to start a podcast and how to host events and how to get featured in the press and the media and how to do all the things, when, as you know, you don't have to know all those pieces to get started. You just have to get started, start putting yourself out there. And then from one area of your business to another, it starts to build as you set the foundation. But so many people just get so overwhelmed, thinking that they have to have it all ready to go before they can even launch. When they do launch, they launch to crickets, because their audience doesn't even know what the heck they're doing.
Right. Right. What would you say would be like, if you could give them one tip, what would you say would be that one tip to that first thing where they're not just talking to crickets?
Really, it starts with building that community, even if it's a small community. And the way to go about doing that is to start putting yourself out online. It doesn't have to be all pretty, perfectly branded with these beautiful images and all those things. It's really start putting your message out online and let people get to know who you are and what pain points you solve. And then through that, over time, again, you start building those other elements of your business, and you can start adding the pretty branding if you want, or these beautiful, edited pictures, or these images from these photo shoots and things like that. But really, it's just start putting your message out there and attracting your ideal clients. Because the thing is so many people think, oh, well, my Instagram feed has to look so perfect, right? It has to be perfectly curated with the right filter and this and that. And the thing about that is, yeah, that's nice. But for me, I don't like to just have that perfectly curated image with only professional photography. I like the selfies. I like the images just straight from my iPhone, or some that are lower quality, or even, videos or clips from different things, because it makes me seem like a human.
Right.
People don't relate to perfection because humans aren't perfect.
Strange.
Darn it. You didn't know that?
Darn. Well, and that's just it, is, something that I feel like I kind of learned the hard way about perfectionism. Is it's like this ideology that is not obtainable. It's never attainable for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't actually exist. And
Mm-hmm.
once I'm like, oh, there really is no perfection, it makes it a lot easier to like actually just get to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not relatable. Why
Right?
are people going to buy your products and services if they don't relate to you? They're
Yeah.
not.
Well, and I often talk about that too. Like, if you're going to like a health and wellness person or like a personal trainer, for me, it's like, I want somebody, I like to work with women a lot. Like I've had really great personal trainers who are men. But I really like to work with women now that I've had kids and like my body is different,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like if I'm working with, and no offense obviously to anybody who fits this mold, but working with a 19-year-old who doesn't even have a thought in her mind right now about having kids, and she's like, oh, well, I don't really diet because, my metabolism is still like through the roof. That's not relatable to me. And it's like, oh, great. Can you even help me? Even though I know she probably could, it just makes me feel different. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well then.
Yeah. See, because we work with people who we feel like understand us. We don't buy because we understand. We buy because we feel understood.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And, most women, they buy based off of emotion anyway.
100%.
So, especially if it's like a personal thing, like growing their business or overcoming, mom shame or mom guilt or whatever that looks like, or, hiring a personal trainer. One thing that I always think about when I think about branding is a lot of people think it's just a logo. Like I have to get the logo. I have to get the logo. And then I could just slap my logo all over the place. And it's like, well, and for me, and I'm sure this probably speaks to you as well, it's more than just a logo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I say it's like an essence.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And the thing is like, for me, we don't even really work on like the branding. Like when you really look at the true nature of like the branding, the website, the colors, the logo,
right.
Unless it's a rebrand, unless it's someone who already has proof of concept, who is already monetizing their brand. And then we take it from there and literally we take it to a whole nother level. But in the beginning, I don't even suggest, focusing on those things for like the newbie entrepreneur or the new, mompreneur, because they're going to waste so much time in those areas worried about colors and logos and all these things that don't really matter in the beginning. And they're taking that time away from something else that they can be using to actually create and build their business. Because a logo, yes, it enhances it. Yes, it does all these things. But if you're not putting the content out there, if you're not building your business, then the branding, it doesn't do anything. It's just going to sit there. No one's even going to see it.
That's so true. It's absolutely so true. And the other thing too that I've noticed, like I know there's like color psychology and all of that kind of stuff, and certain colors evoke certain emotions, except my color, because my color's pink. So it doesn't do anything like
no, not
to your body chemistry. They're like, oh, I'm so glad I picked that color now. But I don't, and at least consciously, I don't pick to work with somebody based on what their logo looks like or what color they wear most of the time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think that certain colors are great, and obviously pink is like my color, and I wear it and I love it, and it's, you know, I embrace that. But I think that a lot of people get, like you were saying, you know, so wrapped up in that and coming out, you know, like hitting the ground with, you know, something that, I don't know, they've been in business for, making it look like or feel like they've been in business for 30 years, but they haven't. And, and I feel like you're right. They do spend, you know, they're spinning their wheels up front when they could be hitting the ground running and actually, you know, making their impact.
Yeah. Well, I made that same mistake. This was back, gosh, it must have been like 4 years ago. I spent so much time trying to use Adobe Illustrator and trying to learn how to create my own logo. And I'm like, this is stupid. Like, why am I spending countless hours doing this when I could be using this valuable time to do something else?
Right.
So that's one thing that I always tout. It's like, don't even focus on that right now. Like if you're still in your, you know, infancy stage of your business, don't even focus on colors, logo, any of that stuff. I mean, look at some of these bigger brands. Think of Gabby Bernstein. Think of Lewis House. They all just have their name. Like just use your name in the beginning, put it together with, you know, some capital letters, some lowercase, some bold, some italics, however you want to do it. So it looks different than the rest of your content or your website or whatever you have. But yeah, I would not even spend the time trying to create the logo or hiring someone yet.
Yeah. And you know what's super funny is when you mentioned both of their names, I saw instantly their face. I didn't see a logo. I didn't see anything other than like just their face.
Yeah. They don't have a fancy logo.
Right.
Not at all.
I like that. I like that. Because, you know, Gabby could have very well like trademarked and logoed like Spirit Junkie or whatever her stuff is, but she's
I wonder if she has. I'm not sure if she has. Yeah.
I don't know that she's logoed it. Maybe she trademarked it. I don't know that either, but you know, she still leads with being Gabby.
Yeah, that's because it's her personal brand. She's Gabby. She leads with her face.
And she'll always be Gabby.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, it's like, I know some people, you know, they get this like movement message going and whatever, and they brand that. And I love that. But yeah, when you're just beginning and you're just starting out, I teach everybody this, lead with you, because, you know, there's a million people, whether you're with an MLM or you're a life coach or a spiritual creator, there's a million people who do what you do. So you have to stand out and put, you know, your personality out there, because they're going to want to work with you. They're going to want to know, like you said, she gets me, she can help me. She already told me she's been there and done this before me. And that's the things that really start to stand out, you know, in your personality.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that. Let's talk about a few things about your business. So I know you say that, you know, lead with your personality, lead with yourself. What about you? You work with, you know, people who are, you know, have net worths of millions and millions of dollars. What are your suggestions, you know, kind of on like a broad range of really standing out as a personal brand?
Sure. So actually not all of our clients are millionaires, right? We have clients, like last year we worked with a coach. She's not even making six figures yet. But she was ready to rebrand it, like really take it to the next level and hone in on like her ideal client and her messaging and how to show up and what products and services to create and all those things. So it wasn't even that all of these people are worth a lot of money. It's just that those who tend to be a little more well off in their businesses have more money to be able to spend on some of the personal branding stuff that we do. But on the other side, some of it, like strategy is my favorite part of everything that I do. It's creating that strategy, that long-term strategy for their personal brand, helping them create a monetization strategy, helping them develop their products and services in such a way, and showing them they can actually create their products and services in a way where they can even do, you know, multiple six figures just off of 3 or 4 products. They don't even have to have, you know, 8, 9, 10 different products and services. It doesn't have to be that complicated. So in terms of your question was what is the broad overview of building their personal brand or putting themselves out there. It was something like that, right?
Like standing out with their personal brand.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to take it away from the branding itself. And I'm just going to say, putting yourself out there on video, letting people know who you really are. So many people are afraid of being judged. They face imposter syndrome that comes down to, them being afraid of being judged and what other people will think of them. But the thing is nobody buys vanilla,
Right.
that sounded kind of funny. Nobody buys into boring people. Right? If you're
Right.
just vanilla, you're just vanilla. You don't stand out. Like how can you be another flavor? How can you be, a chocolate or a strawberry or, a raspberry or some other flavor, not just vanilla? Because like vanilla is just the thing that goes with everything. And so
Right.
if you really want to stand out, like what can you do differently than what other people are already doing? What parts of your personality can you showcase and highlight to let people in on your life and who you are as a person? Because just because you put your product and services out on the internet doesn't mean people are going to buy. They have to buy into you first. So what do you need to do? You need to show them who you are. You can highlight your products and services, sometimes your testimonials, whether it's a video or like a written testimonial, and tout that all over the internet. Let people into, your life. If you have kids, then, bring them into your kids. Don't post the kids all the time, but let them in, see part of your kids in your daily life or your life with your husband and all those sort of things and what makes you tick, because that's who people are going to relate to. That's who your ideal clients are going to relate to. They're not just going to relate to the features of some product or service that you have listed on a website.
Right. I'm like sitting here shaking my head, realizing now that like nobody can like see my head shake. Because I'm like, yeah, all of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really like what it comes down to is how can you show your personality, and especially even on video. Like I just did a post this morning and I get super passionate about certain topics, especially, living a life different than what society tells us to live. And that's something I'm very passionate about. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't care if this doesn't resonate with certain people, because those people aren't my tribe, whether
Right.
it's my ideal client or not, whether they buy from me or not. Like they're not part of my tribe if this doesn't resonate with them. And I don't really want them part of my tribe if it doesn't resonate with them, because I want to be around people who think like me and push me and encourage me and help me to be a better person. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this out there, even if it's slightly controversial, even if it gets some negative comments, because this is part of who I am, and I want to inspire other people to do more with their lives. And I can't do that if I'm not being a role model, if I'm not first doing what I'm telling them to do.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so many people out there who that's what they want to see. They're like, okay, I want to see that she's done it, because if she's done it, then I know she can help me get to where she is. And I always say, obviously I didn't make this up, but I use it. I call it the I'll have what she's having effect, where it's just so like, oh my gosh, yes. Like everything you just said, everything you just did. Yes, I want that. Sign me up. I'll have what you're having. Like, and I feel like once people can get to see that and get to know you, then they're like, all right, this person's the real deal. They've positioned themselves as an expert. They've taught me something already. They've given me that value. What's the next step? How can they continue to help me?
And even if, say, like, it's great that we can help them, right? But what if like our product or service isn't necessarily for them? It might be their uncle, or not their uncle. Well, if we're, just speaking to females, it might be their aunt, it might be their grandma, it might be their best friend, it might be, or someone that they just met who we can help. And it doesn't necessarily, it might not be them, but if they know what a wonderful person we are and the products and services that we offer and how we change lives, then they may recommend us to someone else.
Totally agree. Absolutely. And the other thing too is it's like I had a girl who she is a client of mine, but she's not particularly ready to be in my mastermind. She totally just, tagged one of her, I want to call him like a colleague, in a post like, hey, this is the course that I was telling you about. You know what I mean? And so that's exactly it, is maybe, Jane isn't ready, but her downline or her upline or her sister or whomever is ready. And they're like, this is a person for you. You need to like follow these people and, pay attention to what they're doing, join their group, take advantage of this free thing that they have.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't realize how many people we are actually impacting, right? We tend to only notice people who give us feedback, whether it's a
Right.
like or a comment or a DM, but there are a lot of people out there that might just fail to click the little heart, or might fail to double tap, or just don't have time to leave a comment, or maybe they just don't really want to leave a comment, but they resonate with it. And so we forget that, there are people who are watching us that maybe we don't get that instant feedback that, social media gives us.
Yes. And one of the other things that I often talk about with some of my clients is, depending on the nature of their business, somebody might not be wanting to say, yes, I need help with that.
Uh-huh. People are afraid to step up sometimes, and oftentimes they know that they have this problem, but they don't necessarily know how to solve it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Where it's by us being relatable, by us coming, talking about the challenges that we have faced and how we've overcome it, that they start to realize, oh, like I need help in these areas too. Like, can you help me?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's, yeah, so spot on. Not usually at a loss for words, but I totally just was.
We'll take it.
That's so good. Awesome. Okay, so tell everybody, I know that, you're easy to find, but tell everybody before we hop off here where they can find you in all the places.
Caloni Michelle on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, my website. Literally, it's just everywhere. So Caloni Michelle with 2 L's. If you type it into Google, you'll find something that populates with my name on it.
Perfect. And see, you guys, that is what is keeping it easy.
Mm-hmm. Except my name's not easy to spell, but I didn't choose that.
You know what? My name is not easy to spell either. And I've always had, like, even my last names were spelled kind of funny too.
Oh, see, yeah. But it makes you unique, right? It's just that extra character.
That's absolutely right. Okay, so just to be really, really quick, the spelling on Caloni is Caloni, and then Michelle is Michelle. So Caloni Michelle on all the places. You guys give her some love, give her a follow, and you guys will just love her content. Caloni, thank you so much for joining us today and being a guest on our show. I'm just so excited that you took the time from your super busy schedule to join us, and it has been so much fun.
Thanks for having me, Amie.
You're so welcome. I'll talk to you soon.